Come on in. Got a fun one here for you today. Feeling all creative. Got a new Instagram angle. Let me know what you think, if it needs to be adjusted. Jenny say? I didn't see it. Jenny said something.
I'll check.
The cold UK. Oh no. Oh man. We're supposed to get, it's going to be 70 degrees Fahrenheit here today. But it's going to storm tonight. So, yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. So, yeah. Come on in here. We got a fun one today. Getting all juiced up for NSECA. And so, yeah. The creativity, this is what I love. So it's probably because I'm avoiding what I really need to be doing and just being in the studio and things are clicking. So just a couple of housekeeping things. We're getting ready to decide to go to NSECA here coming up in a week or two. Had a really amazing time at the North Carolina Clay Conference. Saw quite a few of you there, and that was fun. They sold out that conference. It's a small little, I forget the total number, 200, 300 people. But they did an amazing job. Kudos to them. And yeah, nice presenters. And I came back with a sweet Lori Cafferty mug. So if you go check her out, I love camping. So we got a little camping mug here, camping scene. Get some fun, different designs. She's from Asheville, and as a 2-year-old, so she's a busy part of her life. But yeah, but I bought some earrings too, but I forgot to put those in today. Oh wait, I guess I got those for Maris and Gretchen. But yeah, those are real fun, kind of clay world earrings. So I think that she's gonna have some at NSECA, but if you're not going to be there, check out our website. So, yes, Lori, loved your presentation. Jessica and Lydia too. So I think you can go find some social media posts out there in regards to North Carolina clay. So yeah. So look what we have today here. Making square plates, but using a round form and throwing a foot on there. So I've been trying to make some plates for home for a long time, and the good thing that I have is I get to make all this stuff, and then if it works, I put it in the cupboard. If it doesn't, I don't. So yeah, well, that's the attitude I think you guys should have, right? It's like I was thinking about that too. Like we get lots of questions about if things could go wrong, and I think that might be a thing to kind of think about. If you're having difficulty in the studio, you're probably thinking about what's going to go wrong. Start to think about what's going to go right, and if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. Who cares? But the more you have fun and kind of get after it, you'll have way better results. Kind of like what I talked about. It's in the same theory. I think of, like I always talk about when you're driving down the road. I remember when driver's training and the instructor said to look down the road instead of over the hood because you'll go much straighter. And I think that is the key. So keep looking forward, keep looking positively towards the future, and I think your path is going to be much straighter to what you want to accomplish. But why did the Clay Conference keep pushing back the approval date? Because the committee couldn't stop needing more time, shape up the agenda. Bad joke. Enjoy the warm weather. Yeah, I'm having a weather like we have today here, like we did in North Carolina. But yeah. No, yeah. But it's fun, good fun, little conference fun. But Yeah, hopefully you're all coming to Ensika, right? Yeah, no, but it's gonna be kind of daunting and anxiety producing. But again, look to the future. Look how much fun you can have, as opposed to like being overwhelmed and stuck in your hotel room. Yeah. So anyway, let's get to these plates. Actually, wait, I can't. There's still more stuff to chat about, right? What was I even gonna say? Oh, fun news! I'm having Mud Tools is coming by on Sunday night and Monday to do like a photo shoot for a new tool coming out. So watch for that next week, hopefully, and maybe even during Ensika. I'm not sure exactly when our kind of official launch date is going to be, but I know Mud Tools is still recovering from the floods and really working hard to have enough products for Ensika, and so yeah, it might be a minute, but I'm really excited about them coming. So I might have to do some housekeeping here. So maybe next video, yeah, it won't look that much different, but just do a little cleanup. It's due for. Probably can't see it. That's why I like using the webcams too, because you can't see all the details of the dust around here. But yeah. So Kate, hello in the UK. Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Another UK person. I saw Potclays was posting. They had a longtime potter in their shop this week, but that seemed fun. Wish I could have been there for that. I don't know the potter though. Let me grab a ruler here, I forgot. So, all right. Make sure you ask questions if I, oh, the Netherlands. Hello, Netherlands. I just talked to Agnes. They're already coming for Ensika. I'm like, wow, that's awesome. So, her and her husband. So, anyway, so I'm just going to make a line here, maybe one over here, at about 9 inches. I'm going to be making, an 8-inch plate, and actually I might need, forgot I might need some clay. I got some over there for the foot, but so I want to just kind of do a loose cut. I think this is the thing with, hopefully that I can teach you, because we try to be so specific and so particular, and that doesn't always work very well with clay. And it's probably why I like clay, is because you just have to kind of, in a sense, wing it. Go for it. Be positive. Worry about failure. And yeah. So I'm just making a loose cut of a 9x9 square. And what's going to happen is we're going to compress the clay. We're going to manipulate the clay a little bit. So it's, it's just going to, this needs to be a rough cut. It doesn't have to be this particular cut. I see a lot of times people use forms to cut their slab, which is totally fine, right? You figure out a way. But, in the end, it's going to squish and turn and move other directions. So you can even see here, if I put my finger here, you can see how the clay kind of, it moves. It'll move about 1/4 of an inch, even just with a gentle stroke with this yellow rib. And I just want to really make sure I'm compressing the clay still, a couple different directions, but I don't want to squish out this clay, because I want to keep that measurement pretty good here. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I like to just get going. All right, good. Thank you for you guys for being here, and thanks for your positive comments. I love it. And that's I'm hoping just trying to give you encouragement. If I can do it, you can do it, kind of situation. But yeah. And every time, every project has a little slightly different process. And I'm going to switch this. I just thought of this. I was pushing most of the first direction of clay this direction. So now I'm going to push it this direction. So it keeps rotating. So it will thin it out kind of evenly if it's kind of compressing it a little bit. And hopefully it's not, but it's kind of creating an opposite movement. So it kind of helps to kind of compact, maybe even kind of deal with the tension that's in the clay, trying to figure out where to go. And so we're giving it directions to kind of stay in place. All right. So what I'm going to be using here is an 8-inch. I even have this one with a Sharpie marker on there. An 8-inch RD2, and I really like these RD2s because they give you so many options. And you know, the benefit of these is one, it can incorporate the lip if you're just making a certain straight out plate, basic plate. Two, it creates this non-transitional line here, so we can do all kinds of things, and that's where it's working in my mind to create these kind of square plates, but it kind of just creates a nice bowl, kind of little dimension to the slab to let the food stay in there. So it should work really well for foods as well. So yeah, so I would highly recommend. I just brought this one over here. Delaney one got it for me. This is like a little mini starter of the RD2s. It's got an oval, a rectangle, this round form, and a square form in here. And so this is a really good one to start with, to experiment with different type of like organic style plates. So, you know, or if you want to just make the rounds too, but yeah, or squares, or whatever shape it is. But yeah. Yes. Hi, Bunny. Let's see who else is here. So, I'm just going to take my clay and I'm just going to try to put this in a different way here. And you really could just take the clay. I'm going to slide this over here a minute so I can put this on here. I'm going to make two of them, so I'll go through it kind of quickly and come back. But I'm going to kind of push the slab over so it kind of holds the shape. And then I'm going to use my wheel. These are this is why I'm excited about these plates. This was the original kind of reason I wanted to develop the RD2 system. So we get a lot of questions about this, like, you know, so you can use any forms to make any plates, and if you want to use the wheel to add a foot or to cut off the edge, then you need to get the RD2 system, and it's just a 3-piece system that will attach to your potter's wheel using bat pins, and that's really basically it. So now I can take this piece that I made here, and I can drape it on the side here. And then what I can do is take my little rib here, and then I can just compress again to help it to hold its shape and maintain that shape. I might be a little more, not quite pressing this super hard at this transition here, just against where the form is. And then I can use the saw tool and set it to 2 inches, so it'll create a 4-inch foot, so it's a consistent foot. What I didn't do this time that I did last night was I had made a little extra clay, to make a foot. And this is, I wouldn't say this is the best option, but under a pinch, we'll go for it. So I'm just going to cut a little strip of clay here. To use for the foot. The nice thing about this system is that it's got this kind of nice locating groove that helps you even to do it one hand to like put that on the wheel. So, ooh, do I have it long enough? Ooh, it's going to be close. See how good I am. Oh, not very good. But I got a lot of clay here, so more than I had last night, so I can remove some of it when I squish it. Alright, so now I just put this strip of clay on here, and this is one of the advantages of using the RD2 system, is that I can now kind of shape this foot. And it's one of my favorite parts. If you struggle with using a potter's wheel, this is a really great exercise to kind of work on that. It doesn't take a lot of, it helps you to kind of work on the kind of movements that you need. So now I'm going to use a sponge to kind of moisten this slab, and then I'm just going to push it in place and from the center with this finger here. And so now I like to kind of put a little bit of an angle to kind of match the side angle. I can remove some of the clay here. So I love this kind of contrast between handmade and machine. Excuse me. Breathe wrong. But it kind of creates this kind of fun kind of contrast where you can see like this kind of real more obviously handmade edge or body of the plate versus this kind of machined edge with the potter's wheel turning over. So I'm just going to remove some of this clay because I remember it was kind of thick and I want it to match some of my other pieces. So now by pushing on the outside, I can shape that foot to whatever angle I want it to be. So the outside really deals with aesthetics, inside gives it the center, and top makes sure that it's attached to the wheel. I know some of you are thinking, oh man, how am I going to get that to be straight and even? It's going to rock. I wouldn't worry about that. Just let it be. It'll do good things for you. And now what I've been doing is I had this stamp made. It's just a rubber stamp. So you can use lots of different things. Probably could use some cornstarch or whatever, but now I can just stamp the series of plates that I'm making here. And it's kind of, I was hoping then to be able to make them for our 10-year anniversary here. So at GR Pottery Forms. So now I can remove this. And here is an example of sometimes some of you have different spacers. So if I need to keep this key and add in kind of a spacer, you could do that. So keep the one that really fits in there, and then add this one in here to kind of help it to kind of gain its shape. You could even use these. I like the ones that have bolts so I can move it onto the board. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my board where it's going to lay to rest here. And then I'm going to push down on this outside edge because it's got that gap from where that spacer was. And this kind of helps me kind of have a nice transition, you know, have that angle kind of go down the side with the form. So here we go. So that's that. Let's just make another one here. Whoop. Let's say whoops, Jeff. See, Bill's got the Flipper-Rooney shirt. I'm going to have one that says whoops. Yeah. Many t-shirt makers out there, go for it. Whoops. All right, so let's make another one here. Again, I'm compressing the slab here gently, but it's really this movement. I've seen lots of people like squirt liquid on there or use a big spatula to smooth the surface. Really, we're really not trying to really smooth the surface more than we are trying to compress the clay particles together. All right. Any other questions out there? Jenny's been answering a lot of them, so thank you, Jenny. And Delaney, I'm sure, back over here. So, if you're coming to Nasika, you'll get to meet Jenny and Delaney. They're coming along. Gretchen is also coming. Matt and Nevin. Nevin has been there helping for quite a few years. She's a retired teacher. Loves to come and help, so love to have her. Yes. So yeah. So now we got this prepped. When we grab another 8-inch, you know, you really could use a square, but this, for some reason, I like how this round kind of creates this it kind of centers everything into the middle of the plate. It kind of has corners, but not really borders. There we go. Still, I'm using pretty thin clay here. And so I'm just going to drape that on here. We're going to drape it on and then kind of push the clay towards the form so it doesn't stretch it out any. And then so these are the 3 pieces that are part of the Watu system. It's the board that we do the prepping on, this one with a hole, and then the key. That's it. It's just those 3 pieces. And then all the round forms have holes in them to then attach. Some have 2, all of them have at least one center one. So I always like to just use the center one because it's enough. But you can, if you need to, use the second one. Alright. There, so now we just attach it to the wheel, right? And then use my handy dandy Mud Tools rib. And then we're going to compress on the sides here. What kind of clay do you prefer to use for these? That is a fantastic question. You know, I really prefer just a general basic stoneware, and I I have a darker one that's speckly, and then this one that is just a white stoneware, and usually that makes it then the cheapest clay that I can buy. But also because it's stoneware, has those stones in it, those particles to help to kind of hold everything together and give it a little bit more durability. So so that's a good question. And I would then go based on where you're located. You know, it's not exactly like buying flour to bake with, but if you're a specific baker and that makes specific things, then you may need a specific brand. But it's really all this pounded dirt, and all the clay makers are pretty much getting it, for the most part, from the same source. So I would try to find something that's really available and accessible and affordable. Because now clay has gone up dramatically in price, which makes sense. I can't believe it's been as cheap as it has been for so long, because it's a quite specialty for them to make it, and they work really hard to make it. So usually if you give them a hard time, they give you a hard time back, because you don't really realize how much work they're putting into making this clay for you, and the margins are, the actual money is not massive unless you're selling millions and millions of pounds of clay. So be grateful to your clay makers. And yeah, and then it really becomes a choice then too of like what glazes you want to use. And a lot of times that is the main thing, is getting your clay to match the glazes you're interested in using. Sometimes you might need to use different clays because you want different effects from different glazes. But it's all this trial and error. It's all experimentation. It's all looking to have fun, because it's easy. Clay is really easy media to be frustrated with, and yeah, because error and failure is probably 70% of the equation usually. So, you know, and as you start to refine that, you might get down to 45 or 40%. So it's still a massive amount of failure that's involved with clay, because we got to take this crushed up dirt and rocks, make sure it's mixed all right, make sure it's the right moisture content, and then put in this kiln twice sometimes to heat it up to like 2,000 degrees, 2,400 degrees. So almost to where to a temperature that will melt steel. So we're putting a lot of pressure and intensity on this dirt. So but it is magical. It's like gardening, you know, like where if you put all the labor into it, you will create a harvest for yourself. And so that's what I think is really, I still haven't been able to do it, but like why people enjoy running. I'm still in my grandpa's camp. It's like, why do people run? Because they always look so mad. But they have got to a point where they can harvest all the goodness of running even. So yeah, I'm on my little soapbox I guess today. It must be pretty good coffee. Friday afternoon, y'all. I'm down in the south. I can say y'all now, right? Oh yeah, and it's fun. I made it back last week. I made it back in time to watch Amos win his game, and yeah, so that was a lot of fun. Good fun. And so yeah, I'm actually get to show you today. I am so prepared, and whew, things are going good today. Stamp my form here. It's nice I can push against that form. It's a good time to do that now. Lift out from inside. That's another advantage of this hole in the middle, is that I can lift out and lift up my form, so it doesn't really affect the release as much. Okay, we got to get the final state in mind. I mean, yeah. Yes, somebody just was saying how it's kind of mind-numbing of all the different stages. Yeah, and to me, I think if you are like a process-oriented person, clay is great for you because it's just kind of trying to figure out what you did last time and what went good and what went bad, and repeat the good things and don't repeat the bad things, or try to figure out how to turn the bad things into good things, I guess, right? So, yeah. But there's something about this making something, right? Creating something that was a cube of clay, of wet dirt, right? And now it's this kind of plate that we can serve to our friends. So it's this interesting kind of correlation. So, yeah. Lots of note taking. Exactly. Get a nice notebook. I'm terrible at that. I'm a bad note taker. I just kind of keep bouncing from one thing to the other thing, I guess, right? So, all right. So, there we go. So last night I was here. I was excited to be in the studio. I had to do some work first, and then I came in here around 10 o'clock. So I made like 6 of these pieces last night. So I'm going to show you the next steps here. And so, can you believe it? I have the whole steps in one video for those that have been watching for a while. I left these uncovered overnight for, it was actually about 9 hours. I turned off all the heat and the air and all the kind of movement things that might move. They got a little bit dry, but they came to this nice kind of stiff leather hard. And you can see it's quite irregular, which is okay. We're gonna fix that, right? And what I want to do is, thinking about what glaze I'm going to do, I'm just adding on, I was thinking about a white glaze. And I'm just going to add underglaze here. And there's so many different stages, again, trial and error. One thing to really be cautious about is if this is really bone dry and I add this wet clay slip on here, it has the potential for it to crack because of that quick expansion and stress that I'm putting on those clay particles. So the ones I did this morning didn't crack, but let's see if this one will. But now what I'm going to do is, the clay is kind of, it's at this stiff leather hard stage, so it's going to absorb this underglaze really quickly. Hopefully not too quickly, right? Good question. Somebody asked if I left those out all that long on purpose. Well, I have this a little bit of liberty these days of like, I don't have a show coming up, so if they get too dry, I can just make new ones. But that's the part I like to do anyway. But yeah, no, I probably would maybe do 4 to 6 hours uncovered. Might have been a little bit better. So they were really close. And I was concerned that they weren't going to work, but I added the underglaze, and so far they've been going pretty good. So, and I'm just going to put on one really thick coat because again, this is really just a background color. It's just going to change, just kind of create a consistent color on the clay. And now that I add this wet underglaze, it's rehydrating that, and it's amazing how quickly it will rehydrate itself. So I'm going to set this off to the side. So I would, if you're going to do a bunch of these, you can see how it's shiny. Wait till it becomes not shiny, and then you can kind of start to work with it. And you can feel these edges will start to get a little bit, put a little more glaze on here, a little soft, and then wait till those kind of firm back up again. That makes sense? So this is a really good time to, if you're going need to add color, or you're going to layer on colors, or add different surface design with underglazes, this is a great time to do that. So, oh, I am coming to Southern California in April. You have a good memory, Christina. I am. We're coming the 8th. We're coming in the 8th through the 12th, I think. So we might have to meet up. Good old San Diego. For spring break, my wife Gretchen's brother moved there, and so Gretchen and our daughter Maris, they've been dying to go there to see it, and we went there another time too. So kids had a little affectionate, I don't know why with San Diego, but yeah. So that'll be a little bit of a family time between Nsika and my trip to China. So yeah, then I'm gonna So okay, good question. Question was did you clean up the edges? Oops. And that's debatable. After this morning, it probably would have been a good idea too, because we'll get to this next stage and I'll show you. Yeah, because it's the next stage where we're doing that, right? So I set that one off to the side. I had another one that about an hour ago or so, I put an underglaze on here. And now I can kind of clean it up. And so, what I like to do is build up a nice pile of forms. Hopefully you have a bunch of forms around that you can use. But now I like to set it up so all the scraps kind of fall down below. And again, this is just kind of winging it. Like, the more perfect you try to make it, for me anyway, probably for you too, it's just a little bit nature of the clay until you do it thousands of times, is I'm going to kind of eyeball where the center is. And for over here, it's right on the edge. And for here, it's a little outside of here. Rotate that. It's 8 inches the form, so I'm looking for putting that 4 inches kind of in the middle. And I know this is a stretch for a lot of you, right? This takes some giving up control, which is good. It's good. You know, we're not, the clay is, in the end of the day, the clay is in control. So, oh, you're getting rain too, so perfect. There'll be all beautiful flowers by the time we get there. Oh, man. Okay, so now I'm cleaning up the edges here. And I'm kind of holding it gently against the forms. A lot of times it works really nice to be able to hold it in your hand, because then you're not going to push, especially if it's pretty stiff, you can't crack things off. So, but we're in good shape here, and I can have my other hand here. So now I'm just going to shave this edge down and kind of create this nice kind of movement of the edge. It doesn't have to be exactly straight, right? I think it's nice that it's kind of a little bit more of a welcome. I like to use the term welcoming. It's got a welcoming edge. And if you don't want to cut so much off with the rasp, let's take my knife here. Well, you can see it takes about the same amount of time. And I can just break off that edge there. And now I can just trim it down. Till it's to that measurement. So my goal is to get down to this line here. And back to that question of when to kind of clean up that edge, I think it's a really great process question as far as how we want this glaze to look. And I don't know, like this is a really light underglaze, so I'm kind of hoping it will kind of blend. So I probably don't need to do it, but you can see how when we trim this edge, it creates this nice clean line between the edge of the plate and the glaze. So we don't have to make this really straight line. It kind of creates this nice natural looking line. You know, where if this was like a really dark blue color, then I may not want to do that. I might want to add on, like maybe even underglaze this edge again. But part of the reason too I chose to kind of clean up these edges now is because I wanted the glaze to kind of rehydrate the clay a little bit, so it's a little more easy to work with. And then it just kind of created so it rehydrated the clay to make it really nice to kind of fix up those edges. So yeah. So try that. Like if you want a nice, it's a really nice way to create these nice transitional edges by doing the after the fact. All right, so but here is the problem that happens, and you got to make sure it's dry. But you can see all the crumbs from the scrapings might want to stick on that surface spot. So we wipe those off, and now I can just come back and look at how clean this one stroke makes that nice clean line. And I probably could have done the back first, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm excited here. But now what I can do is I can put the form back in to see how close I came to the edge of and how uniform it is. So, and then I can now have support while I clean up this back edge. There we go. So now I've kind of rounded that edge like I need to, like I want to, and remove this gently. And the clay is in this kind of leather hard stage where it's much easier to work with. I don't have to be as careful. Where if you're doing wet, it kind of moves around quite a bit, and if you're doing here it is, where I can do the I can be a little more not as worried about corner breaking off. All right, here one she says I prefer to clean the rim before when the clay is wet to prevent the dry clay crumbs, but I do love the crisp edge. Yeah. And that is, I think, a critical point too. Like, I'm doing multiples here, and so, and I think that's what works really best with functional clay. But it's like, I want to make it use the most efficient time. And when it's wet, there's other factors to deal with. So when I think it's much easier to handle and kind of mess with it, you don't get near as much warping. You get a little better success rate. But there's advantages and disadvantages to both, and so that's when you get to make that decision of how you want to do it. So. And this what makes this tool kind of really important is that I'm using groggy clay, and so this rib, this material is magical, and so don't tell anybody, but that could be part of the new thing coming out. So look for that. But yeah, so that is the possibility here. There we go. So now we have this nice plate. You really could even carve into this if you wanted to. You could make little mishima. I'll go to that front camera if you don't mind a second there. You can make the little, lines to draw in there. In fact, let's do it. I guess I'm gonna wait. Have these nice 6 plates here, but yeah. So there we go, from beginning to end, kind of square plates using round forms, right? It's like another thing that, talking about those edges, I think is these plates are also great. I love making the live edge ones too. So yeah, so it's there's so many fun options. So can you scroll up on the side of that YouTube one? Is there any other? Oh, there's just one more. Yeah. So there we go. And so we'll see how these fire. It's nice. You can see how it has that kind of loopy, kind of looped edge. So what will happen with that is as it starts to shrink and settle, the angle will kind of hold itself up. So it'll be a great option. So yeah. So all right. Well, I think that might be it. We got a little more packing to do before the pallet leaves on Monday or Tuesday for the West, and hopefully we'll see a lot of you there. And yeah. Any final comments, questions for the day? I think we're in good shape. So thanks for being here. Look forward. Have fun. Enjoy your time. Be positive. And you'll have a lot of fun in your studio. So let us know. Let me know if you have any questions. And I'll look forward to seeing you down the path. So have a great weekend. Bye, everybody.